Or by 10%, I believe. Some amount that's always far more impactful than you'd imagine it is.
believe it's
We see
12.
Caitlyn Nautilus picked for Hyrulean Heroes, locking their bot lane quite early. It is worth noting that Caitlyn was actually banned by the side of Phantom Troop last game. So I do find it interesting that they let her through this game. Perhaps they have a plan. Smolder Nami is currently looking like the plan. Oh, never mind. Braum?
Oh,
Braum, the
the
big man with a big
lock
shield
in
and a bigger
the
heart.
Brum is one that is really good into the engaged supports, be able to throw up the unbreakable, stop any sort of damage coming through. However, Caitlyn on her own, with the amount of range that she has, could be a bit of a problem for Smolder to deal with. Early lane pressure and how important early pushes here currently in the season 2026 have been proven to be can come quite valuable. And Vi will be the lock
Hmm.
in for Hyrulean Heroes, going to be able to have the arcane synergy buff.
Yeah, the classic duo of Piltover
Yeah.
Law Enforcement. I will note as well that Braum is quite effective into Caitlyn in that obviously all of Caitlyn's stuff is projectiles. One of my favorite techs you can actually do on Braum is if your ADC walks into a trap, because let's be honest, they will. What you get to do is you get to use your shield with your dash combo as Caitlyn uses her empowered auto attack, which is where the damage from her traps come in. You can actually block that empowered auto attack of your shield completely, which is great. It feels awesome. And yeah, so we're seeing once again big team fight buttons for Phantom Troop. They've got a hyper scaling ADC this time. Well, I guess hyper scaling is a strong word, but they have an ADC who certainly will get very strong late. On the side of Hyrulean Heroes, we do see, I'd say, a bit more focus on this draft. They have incredible point and click ability to lock down a key member of uh, of the enemy team with your Vise and Nautilus ultimates completely locking down with no counterplay if they get in range of you. So what I expected that to indicate is that they identified that if they're able to fully lock down and punish the damage dealers of Phantom Troop, their strong crowd control tools will be useless if there's no damage to follow up. So I expect to see those cooldowns being used on Smolder at the moment, and likely which mid or top laner is their secondary damage dealer, which is currently likely going to be a mid laner. Gnar also being a strong CC tool, but not necessarily the 1v5 team fight carry that you want to support your Mumu and Brahms initial engage.
Yeah, but there's a lot of tools, especially as Vagar gets locked in for the side of Phantom Troop Lucifer to be able to stop this advance that GCCe has locked in for themselves with the Nautilus and the Vi. You go in on the Vi and the Nautilus, the Brahman Breakable gets popped up. You could potentially be ulted by the Amumu to CC you down to keep the smolder safe, as well as the baby cage from Vagar to
That's
keep
right.
you within that circle with nowhere to go. But I mean, they'll lock in the Ambessa on the side of GCC Hyrulean Heroes, further indexing into the single target pick composition that they've drafted for themselves.
Yeah, I would like to note that Vygar's baby cage you put incredibly fun to use when you're laning against Ziggs because Ziggs' primary mobility tool is his satchel, which he can use to reposition himself. But because of its mechanics of its two-cast movement ability, you have to throw it out and then use it. What you can do is you can often just, whenever you see Ziggs trying to escape by using a satchel charge, you just throw up your baby cage around it and ensures that no matter what direction it tries to escape in, you have it covered. So yeah, we'll have to watch out for that. If Phantom Troops Dragon Out is able to uh, camp mid, get his Vigar ahead, get those stacks rolling. You have quite a bit of damage, especially once again, you can expect that because of Mumu applies MR Shred. And if you look at Phantom Troops comp, there's really nowhere else that's effective, right? So I expect to see some mid focus from Phantom Troop this game, and having Smolder almost as a backup strategy. Smolder will stack kind of no matter how the game progresses. Vigar takes a little bit more work to get to those really huge numbers that you want to see. On the side of Hyrulean Heroes, you have a quite strong early ball lane, so I expect to see either Vi try and break that open to try and get early dragons and then completely snowball the Kaelin, or potentially use that instead to say, okay, my ball lane's going to be fine. Let me try and say get Mbessa ahead, try and shut down this Gnar, who should be most likely pushing Mbessa in because of the range advantage innate to that champion.
I think one concern I have with GCC Hyrulean Heroes is that especially because they struggled quite a bit early on in game one. Obviously, they did really well to be able to turn things around, but I don't think they quite have that level of scaling available to them, at least advantage-wise in comparison to Phantom Troupe Lucifer. If they don't get things going early on, I think it becomes really hard for their comp to really do much into what Phantom Troupe Lucifer has drafted for them. Because if they can't blow up either the Vhagar or the Smolder immediately, but like, what do they do after that, right? It's it's like if they fail to kill Vhagar, or if they fail to kill Smolder, what do they do? Right?
They lose.
And
yeah, I fully agree.
yeah, they just lose. And if they are grouped up as 5, even if they kill Vhagar, well, there's Smolder. And if they kill Smolder, well, there's Vhagar. And then they've used everything to get to the 1, and then without the other, it's I find it a little bit troublesome on how they'll be able to play things out as things go on. Personally.
Yeah, I fully agree. I mean, I definitely feel like we're seeing a bit of a flip of game 1. Last game, Hyrulean Heroes were the one with the Cinder. They were the one who had that kind of hyper scaling late game option. Now it's Phantom Troupe potentially take a page out of their opposition's playbook. I will note that I don't think they have a chance to win the 5v5. You just don't have the tools for that. What you do, however, is an incredibly potent pick comp. You have the Vi's cease and desist. You have your Nautilus's death charge. You have your Embesa's public execution.
There we go.
You have all these tools that do let you catch out these champions, especially on rotation. So like how you'd want to play that sort of composition into a composition like Phantom Troops is you would want to always make sure you shove out those sideways. Always shove out the sideways. Nor Vhagar nor Smiter, who the hell is that? Smolder really have exactly. Really have that side lane power, right? Like those are champions that need to be babysat if they're going to overextend on side lanes. So you can take advantage of that to gain that side lane advantage, and then while one of these squishy, relatively immobile carries, especially for the part of Vhagar, rotate over, you catch up using Fog of War, right? And then you can kind of win the team fight before it even starts, which we did see they were able to do by punishing the Ashe pick of Barbar Junk's last game. So if they're planning to win, that's how I would expect them to do it. And you do have the early game advantage with some of these lanes as kind of your compensation for having to play against these infinite scalers.
We'll have to wait and see how that pans out. If Phantom Troupe Lucifer can be able to take this game 2 and send us all 3 going the distance, or if Hyrulean Heroes close things out, we'll be able to bring that to you after the spectator delay. So don't go anywhere. We'll see you in just a few moments. Or we're still right. Oh, no, there we go. And we are once again ready to go on the Rift here in Game 2 of the first week of Ember Cinder League. Bringing you this matchup between GCCe, Hyrulean Heroes, and Phantom Troupe Lucifer. Phantom Troupe obviously looking to be able to send this one to Game 3 this time around. Had control of that early game in Game 1, just weren't quite able to close it out, Kai.
Yeah, for sure. They're looking to go the distance. We mentioned before in draft, but I like that they've decided, you know what, it worked for them. Let's see what works for us. So some very scaling champions pick to see if they're able to take advantage of another long 30-minute close back and forth banger.
Yep, an early action as Phantom Troupe Lucifer able to get some vision down, able to spot out where Kagrin is starting, and with how early waves arrive in the game, there's no easy answer for the side of GCCe Hyrulean Heroes. So slight advantage early on to the side of PTL.
Yeah, though as you mentioned with camps and waves spawning so early now, it actually really also gives advantage back to the side of Hyrulean Heroes because they should know that Mubo will have to path top to bot here. Like he doesn't have time to go start his red. Quick little Winter's Bite landing there in the bot lane. But I don't if Phantom Troupe has their way, there should not be too much action in this lane, right? Both mid and bot lane. They're not really looking to do much in the isolated 1v1s or 2v2s. They're really just looking to play on their jungler. So Hyrulean Heroes should have some very clear timers, especially because they should have additional information on Amuba's pathing when they really have to respect their laners. And the rest of the time, they should be able to kind of pressure them, as we're already seeing here. A little bit of health loss for Smolder, a little bit of a push lead. Now it's walking up.
Level 2, the auto attack, and the dredge line now finds its way down onto Barbar Jonks. Very good patience from Flock to be able to find the damage, the Q from Ballistic Demon, not quite finding the mark, and now Flock a little bit too far forward, going to have to flash away. Ballistic Demon as well, going to commit a flash. Barbar Jonks going to follow up, gets the first kill. Flock will be able to trade it back around, but the extra stun now goes down onto Flock from the Winter's Bright, and it's 2 kills to the bottom lane of Phantom Troupe Lucifer.
Huge for Phantom Troupe. The goal going exactly where he wanted to go. Neither kills going to Braum. Yeah, it looked like a great initial fight for Hyrulean Heroes. You had that push, you had the hook landing. Quickly turn as a few kind of unfortunate circumstances happen. You notice the Piltover and Peacemaker barely missed Smolder. You'll notice an auto attack was actually canceled. It's just small little incremental misses like that really leading up to what was ultimately a very close but lost 2v2 for Hyrulean Heroes.
As you mentioned, the gold going exactly where you want it to on the side of PTL. Barbar Jonks picking that up. This was a signature pick of his last season as well, in the mid lane that time around, but very effective on it. We'll pick up that Sheen on the recall, which admittedly, it does feel good, but it's still a very early Smolder on only component, so it's still time for the bot lane of GCCe to be able to turn things around here.
Yeah, for sure. So we've been seeing in this new season Smolder players liking to go Essence Reaver now. I haven't seen enough evidence yet to know exactly whether or not it's better than the old builds, because back in the day you'd go Hubris into a relatively squishy comps when they're fighting. Oh, action happening.
Buck B won't quite get hit by the baby cage, but it delays things long enough to get him low. Flash forward from Daddy Treasure. Not auto. Daddy! Auto attack, dude! No!
Okay, let me tell you exactly what happened there. So, exactly what you want to see from a troop leader. You want to get Vigar there. But here's what happens. Flash forward from Vigar, ran out of mana, didn't have enough mana. Q. That's what it was. So they actually, the reason why there was an auto attack, so they're trying to cast Q, didn't have mana for it, and then didn't quickly enough pivot into swapping to auto attacks, and yeah, sometimes the tower diff.
I mean, it looked really good as well for the side of Phantom Troupe Lucifer. For Daddy Treasure would have been, an early kill on that scaling champion. It's getting up that unfathomable evil power. With the extra AP though, especially getting those phenomenal evil power. Close enough. PH starting.
Yeah,
word.
We know our words.
English is in fact a language, but either way, going to not find that kill, not going to get stacking up as quickly, and because of how this expected matchup was gone in favor of the Ziggs. also ahead in farm there for the side of Buckby.
It's opposite day somewhere in the world. The 2v1 fight goes direction of the 1. The 2v2 fight with Smolder goes the way of the Smolder. I'm gonna tell you, except expect the unexpected. As we see, the first game Drake of the game is spawned. We do have Vi pathing down bot lane and Phantom Troupe's bot lane extended, so it's possible this game. But they do have control ward and river, so they should have plenty of time to react. Their own jungle is hovering, so expect a 3v3, which should determine the fight of this dragon. Vigar's rotating early, so Phantom Troupe has the early rotation from mid. It actually looks like they're just going to start it off, spotted by Hyrulean heroes. The trading happening
is also quite low. The directed camera takes us up to the top lane, but that's not where our interest really is all too much. Dragon out, taking a lot of aggro from the Drake down to just over half HP now. Buckby going to have a delayed escape, but the Amumu's way too low. Mega Inferno Bomb not going to find too much damage, but just secure that kill onto the Amumu. Dark Archon going to have to heal up to try to escape from Kagran. The slow drops. One more auto attack is all they need onto this Braum. Won't quite find the kill. Barbar jumps with the auto from downtown. Falls away through the flash, will be traded back as Flock picks up that kill. Now Ballistic teaming auto attacking away onto Daddy Treasure. Both are one auto attack away from kills, but neither will try to commit to find a kill onto the other one. So a very hectic fight in which the Drake is still alive.
Exactly. Both teams so wounded by such a close fight that even though there aren't many kills, neither team is able to secure the dragon. It is worth noting that, honestly, I think...
We're probably going to be looking for,
I believe.
Certainly, almost certainly.
I would also like to add that we had a break last game that also ended with T-Die reconnecting, so it might be a recurring issue. But I think that dragon fight...
paused yet.
Yeah, it is quite odd, isn't it? I guess we'll see. Oh, and Bessa is once again moving, so T-Die... Couldn't tell you. I imagine it was technical error, but maybe not. Maybe they got caught typing or something. That happens sometimes.
Perhaps. Either way, solo kill to Sanctum in probably one of the more weirder fashions we've ever seen. But as you mentioned, Dragon is started up once again, down now half HP. Dragon out will arrive to this first to be able to contest. You should be able to land a smite if it comes through. It's within range. Now smite comes down. We'll get an update on who it goes to. Kagran, though, the target of PTL. They'll find the kill onto the GCCe jungler. Bit of a split focus between Flock and Buckby. Dragon out, taken very low. Same as Dark Archon, who flashes away, but nowhere to go in the pit. Flat forward from Barbar. Jonks gets a kill onto Flock. Buckby just going to fall up onto Dark Archon. Gets that kill. Barbar getting very low. Ballistic Demon gets the kill down onto the Smolder. Daddy Treasure, though, going to find another kill in the Dragon Pit down onto the Ziggs. A very disjointed fight, but in the end, the Drake goes away with Phantom Troupe Lucifer.
Yeah. Ballistic Demons, I would like to note, crossed up their opposing laner because they actually flashed across Smolder, which meant that Smolder missed the crucial last auto attack there, which is what won them that duel. I'd just like to point out. And to all the ADC players out there, that is the importance of using attack move in situations.
Kagran got a 1-for-1 trade of the grub so far. Hook finds its way down onto Dragon out. Public execution going to be flashed away by the Amumu, but it secures the position, and the second grub to the side of GCCe. They're looking to advance onto Sanctum as well, but the tower is there to be able to help out the Gnar.
Yeah, second grub to Hyrulean heroes. I'm sure they'll be quite happy to see that. While this was happening, we did have Barbar Jonk smacking that bot lane tower, so a bit of a prezel there. You'll notice the gold advantage does still lie with Phantom Troupe, though it is quite negligible at the moment. But we can expect to see more item completions coming in shortly, as the Luden's Echo and the Essence Reaver are the first item completed.
16 minutes going to get stunned up! Under tower with the concussive blow. Sanctum going to flash away. We'll get a stun onto Kagran and Flock, but there's really nowhere else to go. So much CC that's easy to land with a point and click ult for Kagran. Going to pick up a kill onto Sanctum.
Yeah, that sequence really shows the importance of playing around your support, right? Both side lanes were able to take advantage of, or the side lanes for both teams, I should say, were able to take advantage of the powerful crowd control abilities of the supports to lock down and take out the isolated laners. So 1-for-1, pretty even trade, though I will say that Phantom Trooper gets way more plays out of the exchange, so it should be gold positive for them, as mid lane is still relatively neutral. Though it's, I mean, obviously Smolder getting gold is good, but at least it doesn't get stacks from hitting tower plates, so that's your small consolation there if you're Hyrulean heroes. We see Dragon doing a cheeky invade, caught out by Flock, and we should have a pretty stable game state for the next couple of minutes until the second dragon in the game spawns. It gives time for both teams to finish those first item completions on crucial members before what I imagine to be another team fight. Both teams' compositions being quite adept. That's sort of occasion, and you do see there's lots of wards in Hyrulean Heroes jungles. So Phantom Troop will have lots of information going into the setup. Crucially, not the actual dragon itself will expire before then, but they'll be able to take advantage of that information to get more information, which will actually be useful. I love League of Legends.
What is a bit important as well, though, as you mentioned in that bottom lane, is that the extra kill onto the Caitlyn was under tower. It denied Ballistic Demon quite amount of CS. Now, not even at their fully completed item. Meanwhile, Barbar Jonks fully, hold on, Glacial Fissure finds its way onto 2, and the Curse of the Sad Mummy locks down both bot lane members of GCCe Hyrulean Heroes. It's really not been a very good time for Ballistic Demon here on the Caitlyn.
Yeah, I mean, it's too early to
straight
matter
up
for
to
the
the
dragon.
top lane, Tina! Hey, going to find a kill. The minion auto attack's going to get very low. Not quite going to find the lethal damage there onto the Ambessa, though. Able to get that solo kill without a return.
And like you were just mentioning before, Archon, and Dragon now able to get that kill, which denies the Caitlyn another 2.5 waves worth of CS. That's a lot of golden XP, leading to a nearly 3k gold advantage for Smolder. That's almost double the gold, the net gold advantage of his team.
Here, though, Unbreakable goes up very early, perhaps way too early. Flock in trouble, though. He's very low. The Gust blows fine. The stun mom's called, won't quite tag Flock, so he stays alive for now. Gank unsuccessful on the side of GCCe. Ballistic Demon getting tagged by Barbar Jonks. This could be a kill in the 3v2. Barbar picking up yet another one. 7 kills so far in this game. They're looking to make it more. Kagran in trouble. Bandit shot's not quite going to find the mark. Going forward now onto the Smolder. Going out to flash away from the Mega Infernal Bomb. Dredge line lands, but there's no one there to follow it up. Flock goes down. Buckbee is here. Had already used the ult. Can't find a way in onto the Braum or the Smolder, so will back away. Of course, I say that he gets a big chunk of damage down onto the Amumu. Not quite going to find much else. Will do his best to find some interest. Unbreakable gets thrown up. Buckbee taking big chunks of damage out by the Smolder, by Barbar Jonks. He's feeling really good right now. 8-2-2 with just 13 minutes. And oh my goodness, and it's traded back. Barbar Jonks, I'm going to assume, gets that kill. Ballistic Demon doing his best to chase this down, does his best to get a shutdown finally.
Watch Barbar Jonks' inventory here. I expect to see a purchase the whole item. Yep, there it is.
So that's what I was going to point out.
They were sitting on so much gold that entire time, and they were still winning. Now they're coming back with an entire extra item. So while this will result in Hyrulean Heroes securing the dragon, there's a whole item lead for Smolder. He's at 2 items. It's 13 minutes in the game. This is absurd.
Yeah,
and you can imagine that's going to further accelerate the stacks by the 22 to 25 minute mark. When he gets that 225 stacks, he is going to be able to absolutely shred through the entire composition of Hyrulean Heroes. They need to be worried of Barbar Jonks and his ability to completely end their hopes of closing out the series in a 2-game sweep.
Yeah, Barbar is definitely really big at this point in time. The troubling thing with Smolder is that he's not going to get any easier to deal with, and that was just one W. Landed its way onto Ballistic Demon, one that's not leveled up at all. Taking about, I'd say, 15% of his health bar with one level 1 ability is just kind of a sign of what's to come from the Smolder.
Yeah. For sure. Rift Herald in 30 seconds, so you will expect to see, you'll notice Phantom Troop support is already rotating to try and get some early vision control and walk with their jungler here to be able to potentially make a play on top lane, which they can transition into that top side objective.
But T-Dye's in
Are
trouble. Sanctum's
hacking.
hidden Mega and 2 teammates have arrived to help him out. Public execution will use to try to escape, but the curse of the sad mummy lands a stun, and the Gnar gets its way to layer the CZ. Glacial Fissure ensures there's nowhere for Ambessa to go. T-Dye, as fair plays about as good as he could possibly expect, but Ballistic Demon's going to be in a bunch of trouble. No more tower. Flock is arriving, but I mean, Barbar Junks is so big, and so are the rest of GCCe. The snare will land down. Mega Inferno Bomb drops over the top. Doesn't have access to the flap. Used it earlier to try to close down. Ballistic Demon finally gets it again, but the depth charge lands, and so now there's nowhere to get for Barbar Junks. He's going to try to turn things around. He does at least trade 1 for 1 in the 1v4.
Yeah, wow. Good punish on the cross map from Hyrulean Heroes with the 3-man CC chain, making so T-Dye, even with the great escape attempt, wasn't able to get much done. Yeah, so obviously, I assume that's a shutdown, given a 1 smolder. However, I will note that throughout the sequence, Phantom Troupe Leader was able to knock down every single one of the remaining outers, the top and mid one for the side of Hyrulean Heroes, which will extend the gold lead to nearly 4K, which is a very significant advantage going into this third dragon fight. So I wouldn't be shocked if Hyrulean Hero decides that to give it up if they aren't able to find a strong pick at a time. With your comp, you are still able to find that pick, catch them on rotation, but take advantage of your killing the siege a little. But in the 5-5, you should just lose. But like you mentioned, it doesn't necessarily get any easier. So Zig's ultimate is still a very powerful tool with any CC ability. You saw that in Smolder earlier. So I'm not entirely worried about anything can happen in a team fight at this stage of the game. But I seriously be considering if you're Hyrulean Heroes that if it's an even looking fight, we just leave. But we'll see a bit of poke coming from Ziggs, trying to get that incremental advantage to make sure it's not even.
Going to be the target, but a good baby cage finds a stun onto 2. Flock's going to be denied by a melee minion, though.
Yeah.
Honor the minion for keeping him alive there, because that definitely was looking a little bit dangerous for Daddy Treasure.
For sure. Kagran's flash getting properly canceled by the Vigard does really shut down any real hope of that play panning out, which is too bad because you were making a good play on the weaker members of Phantom Troupe. The strong members here, not able to make much happen on Ambessa. 1 stack remained on the concussive blows before this stun probably would have signaled her death. Plates breaking all across the map.
Yeah, the response from Phantom Troupe Lucifer was try to find the pick onto Sanctum and to make the cross map work. They won't find it this time around. Was able to get out of, to T-Dye, not my top laners of either teams. Flopped around, my mistake. Buckby, I mean, he does a decent amount of damage onto dragging it out there. Mega Inferno Bomb drops, not quite going to find the kill, but it'll certainly force a recall out. Not really much on the map for them to be able to capitalize on that, though.
2 items and tier 3 boots on Ziggs makes him a very potent mid-game threat.
Oh, Kagran, Primordial Burst used down onto the Vi, but equally, no junglers on either side. Both are going to have to recall, and with the Drake spawning in 10 seconds, Dragon Out's going to be back on the map earlier.
That seemed very familiar. Mid laners blowing their entire combo on a jungler just for them to be able to reset and walk back to the fight. So I guess very even engaged, but as you mentioned, yes, the fact that Hyrulean Heroes made the move sooner means Phantom Troupe does get back on the map sooner, which will translate to the second dragon. As I mentioned, if you aren't in an advantageous position, you probably shouldn't bother this when you know Ziggs ults.
They're not quite giving. They should just give this one up. No, Kagran's going in. Flock going to try to follow up. Public Executions finds its way down onto Daddy Treasure. They will eventually get the kill onto the Vanguard. Barbar Junks has to flash away over the wall. Both the carries of PTL are kept out of this one. And now it's a little bit too far forward onto dragging it out. And Barbar Junks is left untouched. Sanctum through the middle of the river as well. Picks up an extra few few kills on top of it, and that is a 4-for-1 going the way of PTL.
Yeah, as mentioned, you probably just shouldn't fight that. So that looked bad, and it should have been even worse. Barbar Jonks flashed over the Dragon Wall and actually was doing nothing for a solid 2 to 4 seconds in that team fight, as they were just barely out of range to continue to blast with their Qs on the front line of Hyrulean heroes. If they were stepping just a little bit further to be able to do that damage, that would have looked even worse. So yeah, that's just the type of fight that you probably should best avoid whenever you can. The result: 6k gold lead for Phantom Troupe, 2 dragons to 1, and a Smolder that's very close to getting their 3rd major item completion by 20 minutes in the game. And they're getting stacked. They haven't even reached their true damage yet. So, oh man, it's it's tough.
They 3 and about 2/3 items now for Barbar Jonks on the Smolder at 20 minutes is it does help that ADCs get the bonus gold these days. But still the effect is the same, where it's pretty dire if you're GCCe.
Man, bounties this season are just so bizarre to look at as like an experience. Like, look, 133 gold for the Smolder. That's it? Like, come on, give me something.
No, he just has 3.5 items, you know, and Caitlyn only has 1 and like
one.
Almost at 2, almost at the IE, but
so yeah, they're both building IE, but Smolder has 50%.
Flash forward from dragging it out.
So. One.
Curse of the Sad Mummy does catch Flock. Bandage Toss finds its way onto Ballistic Demon, but it's a little bit too far away to follow up. Will flash away from the Bandage Toss, is going to follow up. Now finally gets a kill, another kill onto the Caitlyn. Sanctum is isolated a little bit. Is autoing away onto Flock. The rest of PTL arrival eventually get the Nautilus, and another Bandage Toss lands onto T-Die. This time another kill picked up by PTL, and with the top lane tower in their sights, it's just all PTL.
Yeah, wow. Hats off to dragging it out. Does not miss a single Bandage Toss. It turns out that makes it really hard to play the game. Though it should be able to convert this to a Baron. Buck will be able to get whatever they can back on that bot side inner, but yeah, there's really nothing to do. You have full vision of this, but you just have to watch it happen, as that 7k gold lead is about to go up to around 8.5.
Daddy Treasure with the I'm going to assume was a teleport into the bot lane, just going to be immediately deleted.
Well, that's something.
A little bit too overconfident from the mid laner of PTL.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So only 4 Baron buffs on PTL. So that'll
that is nice. Though unfortunately, for Hyrulean heroes, because the Baron was just taken, and Drag's not quite up yet, you aren't able to take advantage of that kill to really do much, especially with that empowered Baron recall, meaning the rest of Phantom Troupe gets the back on the map that much faster, making it so you really just aren't able to convert that into a tower or a neutral or any meaningful gold advantage, as your situation inevitably grows closer to Smolder reaching that 225 stack mark. And I wouldn't be surprised if he could get it by this dragon, but it'll be close. If he doesn't have it by this one, he'll definitely have the next.
The stacks feel good, but I feel like the 4 items feel better. And Kagrin is caught, hit by the Bandage Toss, stunned up by the concussive blows, nowhere to go. Yet another kill finds its way onto the Smolder. 12, 4, and 7 this game.
That's an absurd stat line.
It really is. It's just, man.
I mean, you really want to speak of hope in games like this, but when you have 6k gold advantage to any ADC who is such a champion like Smolder that doesn't have a point where they really fall off, it just becomes so hard to play. It's not enough to win one fight. You need to win several, consequentially, or consecutively rather, or consequentially. The vice grip that Phantom Troupe is able to exert on this game is just going to close tighter and tighter over your base. And that's going to be 3rd dragon over to Phantom Troupe.
Yeah, there's just not really anything GCCe can do to contest, so wisely backs away, but I don't want to harp on it too much, but it is kind of true, is the more they concede, the harder it gets, but also it's so very difficult for them to really do much about it at this point, where it's just
Yeah.
I've been surprised before by a few teams, but the angle, I'm not seeing a lot of angles outside of an ungodly PTL throw.
Kagren with a flank.
I wouldn't be completely honest. I'm watching a PowerPoint right now.
I need to move. It's your time.
Okay, well, of course the stream on my end updates, and there's already 2 kills, and Kagren, I'm assumed, is dead.
Kagren is dead. Vaultberger just barely missing the backline carries, and the 225 stacks does come online, meaning it's likely looking like a fast resolution in this game. 10k gold advantage. It's the Smolder show. Like you're talking about, it is the Smolder show, but they have a Vygar who just has all this time to go, okay, great. I mean, I'll also be useful, guys. Like, I will also outscale any champion.
Oh, finally we're back. Okay, my feed is smooth again. Of course,
of course,
nice to have that after everybody's dead.
Well,
but it appears it went about as expected.
Yeah, you probably could have cast that just as well on the slideshow. You would have been pretty close, I'm sure. Yeah.
I saw 2 deaths and Kagren at like a quarter HP, and it was like, yep, that's about what I expected.
I do like the flank from Kagren. I think you need to move in on it a little bit faster, but the angle is good. You do need to make plays like that if you want to come back in this game. And when you are this far behind, I don't think anyone can fault you for if the play goes awry. At this point in a game of League of Legends, you're fishing for miracle. But what I like about Kagren there is you can't let luck find you. You need to put yourself in the place to make luck happen. And Kagren did do that, I will say. So engage 1v1 top side. It's like laning phase never ended.
Yeah, these 2 top laners probably not going to threatening a solo kill anytime soon on each other, in all honesty, even with the 2.4 gold lead to Sanctum, but with other members arriving, the layering of the CC, Kagren can't really go anywhere. Public Execution is used to try to save his top laner, won't do so. The flank from Dragon and out in the Curse of Sad Money finds its way onto 2. T-Dye goes down subsequently. Buckby going to be claimed. Not much you can really do on the side of GCCe Hyrulean heroes when PTL finds that sort of engage. Now up nearly 12k gold.
You know, it can be so frustrating when you're playing the one of the 2 carries of your team, and the other one is doing so well that you're just like, I'm here too, guys. Because Daddy Treasure flashing forward just to try and be the DPS hero for his support in top lane when the Smolder can't reach that there. Just to flash directly into an
Horizon drops, Flock getting chunked out. Primordial Burst finds the kill. It is traded back with the aid of the tower, but I don't think it'll matter all too much. Gnar going to be used by Sanctum to be able to secure yet another kill. And while Kagren's going to try to 1v1 a Gnar who's a few levels up on him, 4 specifically, going to try to go back and do anything they can to delay things, but I don't think it will be enough. Sanctum has gone low. T-Dye going to do his best to find the kill onto the mini Gnar, but Dark Archon flaps towards T-Dye, gets that kill. Buckby drops a Mega Inferno Bomb, gets Sanctum, gets the burn from the Leandri's Torment, and we'll perhaps get yet another kill, a double kill to Buckby, but it's just not nearly enough at the end of the game. 11.4k gold lead to PTL as the Nexus goes. It was just untenable for GCCe.
Dominance from Phantom Troupe, really. When you're playing the scaling composition, you're able to get that much of a lead. It's very hard to do anything from the other side of the rift. I mean, the game was really decided in the first 10 minutes, right? As soon as the Smolders would make such consecutive balling plays, able to get 2 or 3 kills on the Caitlyn, able to deny them 3 or 4 ways, able to get those plates. Just the gold advantage on a champion like Smolder is just so hard to overcome. And when you have these strong supportive tools like a Mumu, like Braum, even Mega Gnar, right? It just becomes so hard to engage on this champion who's just able to output so much damage at such an early point in the game. And it ends up with a blue screen that says victory, looking exactly like this for the side of Phantom Troupe Legion, or Phantom Troupe Lucifer.
It's Phantom Troupe Lucifer.
We'll play games like this. I feel like
there's just not much. There's not much really to add. Like honestly, the 11.4k gold lead speaks for itself. So
it is exciting.
We'll send it to
game 3.
Yeah, game 3.
This is it.
Yeah. Phantom Troupe Lucifer sends GCCe to game 3, in which we'll be bringing you the draft of on the other side of this break. So we get ready for that. Don't go anywhere.
What does it mean to be happy? Cause it looks like we all don't know. Glass half full or empty. Man, we just putting on a show. Try to look to the heavens to tell us things that we beg to know. Like what did the song mean? There's no tomorrow. Oh, you know
we are back for the final draft here in the Ember Cinder League in our opening week of the Ember esports ecosystem. GCCe Hyrulean Heroes really struggled last time around. PTL looking really strong after that last game.
Yeah, dominant performance. It's worth noting that there was scores 1-1. PTL had like barely dominant control over the early portion of both games, so we'll see if that's something that continues. Um, an adaptation Hyrulean Heroes could make, for instance, is they went for the more early game focused draft last time. They could just try and give early game and hope that they're able to replicate their success of game one and play the scaling draft and wait for Phantom Troupe Lucifer to overstep, make a mistake, punish, and come ahead that way. So I'd love to see them pick some of those more scaling champions. We're seeing some good bans from Phantom Troupe Lucifer. That is to be the case. Rise and Jinx certainly fit the bill for strong late game carries. It was worth noting this is game 3 of the series, and it's first day of the first week of this league, and we're already going to be testing these players' champion pools. 10 champions currently banned by Fearless, so some of these players might start to dig deeper than they might be comfortable doing.
Yeah, and so GCCe Hyrulean Heroes lock in the Aurora as a takeaway from Sanctum, ensuring that doesn't go to the top laner of PTL this time around. But if we're talking about picks that Barbar Jonks was on, he popped off on a Smolder last time around. These were the two picks, the Smolder and the Tristana, that he really thrived on in the mid lane last season. Obviously playing A to C now for PTL, but it's definitely one that's very iconic with Barbar.
Yeah, Tristana is certainly a champion that, like Smolder, has the potential to really dominate a game. Pretty okay in Aurora too. You have the capability to do some really goofy interactions with your Buster Shot and their ultimate, where they land the what's it called, Worlds Beyond or Beyond Worlds or something. The Aurora
Between worlds, but yeah.
Between worlds. You end up between worlds, and then you can actually Buster Shot them in the opposite direction we want them to end up. And you launch them using their own ultimate to the other side, right? So something that Aurora will have to be careful of, whoever ends up piloting them. This game, Skarner, solid pick, has an ultimate that wins fights, good engage, big tank. You like to see it if you're playing an ADC that likes to go in really far like Tristana. Skarner's definitely able to follow up with you. Poppy, strong pick as well, able to deny the rocket jump from Tristana. Though, of course, Skarner being unstoppable is not nearly as affected by that pick. Senna, presumably AD or support. I don't believe Senna ADC is all that decent recently.
Seen too much Senna in like recent months, even going back to last season. So
yeah,
it's interesting to see that picked up by GCCe here. However, if we are talking about scaling picks, Senna does have that infinite scaling, can become a problem. Hit you, as soon as it starts hitting you from 5 screens away, all of a sudden for a quarter of your health bar, it's like, whoa, where'd that come from?
Really tough to deal with. Hyrulean's draft really flexible. Every single one of their champions picked so far can be flexed, so they've got quite the puzzle of a comp to really put together, and it'll be interesting to see what the mind games are like on the back and forth. Orianna, though, we mentioned Senna being able to poke you from a mile away. Orianna's a champion that can similarly burst the Senna if they have a ball delivery system, such as the form of a Skarner. Tarik's interesting. So what you can do with Tarik, right, is you use your Bastion effect on Tristana, and then you can buffer your E with Tristana's rocket jump to kind of stun people out of nowhere, right? If your timing's really, really good, which I'll be honest, I don't know if anyone on Earth is that good. You can do mid-air stuns with Tristana jump, but that might be beyond
requires
year one pro players. So,
but I want to see that. Take a lot of coordination.
I believe in these.
It also seems a bit dangerous, especially with how like generally tanky a lot of these GCCe champions are, with Cassante and the Volibear locked in. I mean, it is certainly an option. I
Yeah.
don't think we'll be seeing it as much because there aren't really
I
a
want
ton
to
of.
see it. So they should.
Yeah, I want to see
But
it
you're
too
right,
because it would
you're
be
right.
cool. But I just don't think there's really too many. Like, maybe you could go in on the Cinna, but Aurora's going to be able to dodge out the stun.
Might be better to put on your
and
Starner
Poppy,
or Darius for
Cassante,
front
and
line. It might be better. But that being said,
Yeah.
putting the Tristana away way more entertaining. In addition, and actually you can also do some things with Cassante ult. So Cassante ult always puts him behind the champion's ulting, well, the opposite direction from where he ulted. So if you're smart as Taric, you can have your E on your ADC and you throw them the opposite direction of the Cassante as they initiate their ult, and they're kind of like self-stunned right as they cast it. And even so, you can pull them through a wall. The ADC, as long as it's not so far away that it breaks the tether, of course, E will land kind of as the unstoppable from the ult breaks. So there's some fun stuff you can do with Target and Tristana this game, but like you're saying, there's a lot of frontline and definitely some better targets. But Darius is a great pick into such beefy frontlines champions.
And as you mentioned, not only is it a Turek stun delivery thing, it is a shockwave delivery system as well.
It absolutely is. Oh, I love to see a Tristana Orianna combo.
It just bring back tactical on Tristana.
Yeah.
Tristana W equals Malphite R. Especially with the shockwave, but no, I mean, considering I've already said it with what GCCe has with how just difficult they are to shred through quickly, or I guess burst down's probably the more correct term.
Yeah.
It's not likely to happen.
Yeah, but draft debrief, Poppy and Steadfast Presence ends up having not too much value. Really, it's only the rocket jump. Phantom, Troupe, or clearly deciding they just didn't want to deal with it and picked relatively mobile champions, which should be actually fine for them. The side of Hyrulean Heroes doesn't have the greatest champions to really abuse a composition that doesn't have many mobility options. That's where some kind of Azir shines, right? Not only do you have your Sand Soldiers to poke from afar, but you also have your Emperor's Divide that just acts as a barrier that says you melee champions just cannot get to us, right? Like it just makes so Darius can't play the game. It makes it so that Taric can't play the game. Similarly, something like Atalia with their Weaver's Wall can also just completely lock off a section of the map. Anivia, any of these champions would have been great to see for Hyrulean Heroes in order to completely prevent Taric and to a lesser extent like Orianna from playing. And of course they didn't know there'd be a Darius, but you can kind of infer they're disincentivized to pick dash champions because of Poppy, which is an interesting kind of synergy between Poppy and wall champions. In addition, right, obviously Poppy with the wall can actually eat them into it if there's like a Nivea crystallize. Darius should be quite impactful this game. You have big frontline targets to stack up your passive on, and then you one-shot the backline. We've all seen what Darius can do. That being said, Hyrulean Hero does have what I want from them. They do have the skilling comp, really, with Senna and Cassante, really, is like the other, actually, like, quite potent team fight tool, like, funnily enough. And in a game like this, right, like, if you're able to remove, presumably, the Tristana, or the Orianna, like, Tristana too, but, like, either of those two, and then lock down Darius, Skarner Tara can't do much. That being said, that's probably easier said than done.
The Poppy ult also can definitely be used to knock enemies away.
Great point.
Especially if Darius gets a little bit too close for comfort. Particularly sticks out the most in that regard. But I think with that, we're probably going to send it to a break to that spectator delay. So when we come back, we'll be bring you the final game here of this Ember Cinder League matchup between GCCe Hyrulean Heroes and Phantom Troupe Lucifer. Don't go anywhere. We'll see you in a few minutes. And for the final time tonight, we are back and loaded onto the Rift for some Ember Cinder League action between GCCe Hyrulean Heroes and Phantom Troupe Lucifer. Looking to hopefully bring us an absolute classic of finale to what has been a very contested series, at least for game one so far.
Yeah, game 3 is always exciting. Some players crumble, some players flourish. It really is. It can be quite a different situation to be in when you know that your back's against the wall. Bit of a brush situation happening. No action. Once again, game starting much sooner this season. We're going to see a repeat play from the opposite from the last game, but from the opposite team with the exact same war in the exact same place as Phantom Troupe started game 2 off with.
Yeah, I don't know if Kagrin was spotted by the vision from Dragging It Out, though, so a little bit different from last time, potentially, in terms of the knowledge that is available to Phantom Troupe Lucifer. I mean, there is potential that at a PTL we're able to intuit that Buckbee wouldn't have moved so far forward if they didn't have support from somebody, namely their jungler, and so that they're maybe on the top side, but that's yet to be seen.
Yeah, furthermore, you can make a relatively educated guess if Phantom Troupe Legion that Volibear will be pathing bot, if only because you have a Darius in the top lane. So that can be a very easy way to lose a 2v1 in the early game. But you know, at the same time, like Darius does like to push in, so maybe there's an opportunity there. Oh, last embrace landing.
Yep. But I mean, I don't really expect we'll be seeing too much action out of these bot lanes early on, even though Flock has gotten the Hill of Blades rune on the Poppy. It's one that you can kind of cheese a few auto attacks down on if someone gets a little bit too close to a wall. But outside of that, yeah.
Yeah, it's tough with Senna. My favorite thing to do with Hill with Poppy is play with a strong ADC, you know, like your Dravens, your Lucians of the game. Get push, and then you just run on your own into enemy jungle and try and kill their jungler. It works surprising amount of time, actually. But some good early trades for the side of Hyrulean Heroes across the map. Decent damage landing across the board, including the top lane, actually, which is somewhat surprising. But I believe that's because if you look at the positioning of Darius, he walked through the tower and is currently basing to reset with that shove advantage, pick up a controller, pick up an early AD advantage, and head back to lane. Yeah, almost a solo kill, but not quite.
Oh, that treasure taken very low. Meanwhile, Kagrin will be spotted out by the wards placed down by Barbar and Dark Archon. And knows just back away. Kagrin arriving first on the scene ahead of Dragging It Out on the Skarner. So Dragging It Out just moves over to the Scuttle Crab, is able to pick that one uncontested.
Yeah, tough spot to be in for Kagrin because with Senna to Tristana and Darius into Cassante, you expect both of your side lanes to be pushed in early, which makes it really difficult to secure either of those release scuttles. A bit of a gank in mid that's being attempted.
Yeah, and he's just going to go invisible and jump away, not really under too much threat of anything.
You do not want to fight the Scuggle if you're dragging it out because there's a blasting one on Kagrin. Yeah, you just walk away. The blasting one because of the reset, because Kagrin didn't take.
First blood. Okay, I'm going to have to assume that was from an attempted tower dive, considering the positioning of T-Dye there, and you know, Sanctum perhaps taking a few extra tower shots. We might be able to get a replay of that. Hold on, we'll maybe get to see it at some point. Yeah, T-Dye was very low. Sanctum going to have to figure, goes forward, gets the pull, but it's a good, you know, timing of the shield, and yeah, Sanctum just little over ambitious there.
I can see the angle.
Same.
But that's not what you want. I mean, reminiscent of game 2, right? When those early kills went up to the smolder, it looked really bad for Hyrulean Heroes, and early kills going to Cassante might be a bit of a mirror. That being said, the game is still very even. 400 gold lead on Cassante. The direct result of that first blood bonus being back in the game. So very close game overall. No objectives yet to spawn. Really too early to make any sort of sweeping generalizations about the game. But with this first dragon spawning, we do get to take a look at the junglers, who are both going to be pathing back to the bot lane, resetting first on the side of dragons. So they will get their first buy-in, which should actually be slightly more gold than Kagran, because these two junglers are basing off tempo of one another. So yeah, you'll notice that there's about a 400. Though the gold is dead even, there's 400 gold, more gold worth of items for the side of the Phantom Troupe jungler. However, tempo difference means that Kagran will be reaching the bot lane first, which could result in a potential play before Dragon. TB coming in from Aurora.
All-out access available to T-Die. Will use it. Sanctum won't quite get the edge of the Q to find the damage needed to claim T-Die, but the bleed is enough. A trade of 1v1 solo kills in the top lane. All the while,
wow. Power of Darius. That was level 6, level 5. There was no guillotine available there, which is nuts. Wow, Darius, what a champion! Just keep fighting.
Especially early on. Win. Does have access to the Noxian guillotine now, as you mentioned. Definitely a very big power spike for that champion. But a little bit, curiously, in the mid lane, kind of a bit of a disjointed recall, as there's no teleport on the Orianna. Daddy Treasure not able to arrive for that first Drake, and GCCe are able to get it relatively uncontested.
Yeah, but first dragon is always good to get, especially when you're playing champions like Senna. So the fact that first dragon is taken means you can afford to give the next 3 if you have to buy time for the Senna to scale, which can be quite crucial when you're playing against a composition that has champions like Tristana, Orianna, that can kind of quite just outvalue you at that one item mark when you're on these scalers like Senna. And Cassante also is quite happy to have some time to scale on the side lane before committing to those team fights. They can be quite potent as a force of separation between the carries and their protectors.
Yeah. Speaking of value and items, Barbar Jonks is walking back to lane with a BF sword. Meanwhile, Ballistic Demon, we'll talk about dive. The Express will land on the T-Die.
Here's volley.
Drag him back with the Impale, but there's just not really much to be able to find there for the top jungle of PTL. Kagran will arrive to help out T-Die a little bit, but just only give him a little bit of support. Not really finding too much just yet, but the stun lands down onto Sanctum. The burst comes through. The storm has been brought, and it finds its way onto Sanctum, dragging him out. Does have no way to get out of there either. 4 kills early on go the way of GCCe, doubling their kill count in the top lane.
Yeah, so that's a tough dive. You know that Volibear just took Dragon, and so after the reset, it makes sense for them to go top lane because you can assume they took their. Well, you actually don't assume. You can hit tab. You saw, you got vision. It looked their CS. You know that they took their bot camps first, so they have to go top there. So they're covering the dive. In addition,
so go between worlds, but take 2 tower shots in return. Not quite finding the kill down onto Daddy Treasure.
What you do is Skarner is go there, just help your Darius crash wave, and then you can get the clean reset for Darius. Yeah, or at least that's anyways an option to be quite beneficial. Big kills going over to the Cassante, and this lead is spreading to the jungle. So we'll see if Hyrulean Heroes is able to take advantage of this early game lead they generated for really the first time in the series. It's just 2k gold so far, but that might expand as they are securing the second of the neutral objectives to spawn, as well as the first to continue their clean streak.
Yeah, but we go straight to the top, and once again, Saintman going on to Kagran. This Darius early on still has a decent amount of power. Noxian Guillotine finds its way onto the Volibear, finds a kill. The ult won't quite save the Tristana in time, but we move back up the top lane. T-Die in a bit of trouble, not quite going to be able to Pathmaker over the wall. Has to flash away, but goes straight back to the bot lane. Dark Archon has not gotten out just yet. Ballistic Demon only needs 1 more auto attack, dodges out the Dazzle. Gets very low in fairness from Dark Archon, but it's still the kill going the way of the Senna.
Yeah, that's spooky. Ballistic Demon able to get those early kills again. Reminiscent of the Smolder from game 2. We saw that one. Of course, the topside play was quite good for Phantom Troupe, able to leverage that Darius's early game power while he still has it. Though that being said, that was after the 2 Drake grubs were secured for Hyrulean, so I'm not sure they're too upset about that going in their opposition's favor. Though, of course, the fact that Darius lived at just a small amount of HP from his innate healing and his triumph, I'm sure he has, must be quite frustrating in the moment.
Yeah, it is just the Darius things, especially early on. The amount of healing he has available to him is quite immense. Even with the Bramble Vest on T-Die kind of negating that, it's just a bit early on. But talking about early on things that feel good in terms of itemization. Wait, hold on. We got Barbar Jonks, the target. The bot lane going to be quite all right. But going back, what I was saying earlier is that the Volibear of Kagrin does have access to the Dusk and Dawn.
He's got the dad item.
Yeah,
and you know what that means.
He's stacks up his auto attacks faster and he heals quite a bit. Does a decent amount. That being said, straight to the bottom lane, dragging out. Not quite going to find Flock. So now the slow finds way onto Barbar Jonks. Dark Archon going to be snared up. Kagrin waiting in the wings, potentially trying to find a counter lane gank angle. But the wave pushed up perhaps a little bit too far. If GCCe can't get this wave pushed in, perhaps there is a Stormbringer available to deny the tower to look for a dive. Which might be the angle that they're going for. Oh, Barbar Jonks rocket jumps forward. We're not really seeing much, but he does find the kill down onto the Senna. Gets the 2v2 kill going the way of Barbar Jonks. Ballistic Demon, even though he was doing quite all right, doing a good job keeping things level and scaling up, will give overkill to the Tristana of Barbar.
So the Volibear was spotted by the Squire's Bloom. So actually they backed off, assuming the play was over. So yeah, Barbar Jonks saw the opportunity. It just gets a sell. However, interestingly enough, because of how low they were as a result from that play, Hyrulean Heroes just walks up and grabs Dragon with knowing they have to reset. So yeah, interesting trade. Bit of gold for another neutral. You mentioned the Dusk and Dawn. Further item completion coming in. Steadfast Heart just purchased by Skarner. Or Steadfast Heart. That's Heartsteel. Steadfast Heart is a different thing. Static Shiv
in trouble once again. Going out to flash away from T-Die. This Cassante looking very troublesome. 3-1-1 as opposed to a very weakened Darius early on, who's kind of put out of this game.
Yeah, well, you know why that is? It's because it looks like he's building Trinity Force, and as we mentioned previously, that is the item that Hyrulean Heroes have as their mascots. So clearly, there's just a bit of anti-synergy happening there.
Yep, giving the or I mean, the logic could be
Okay, yeah.
That they're taking away the item from GCCe. Just ignore that. Anybody else could technically buy the item. I don't see.
No, everyone knows you're gonna buy one champion and one item in each lobby and Fearless. That's the thing, right? When you buy an item, you can't buy it for the rest of the series.
That would be crazy, actually.
That'd be insane. That would probably not be all that fun.
It really wouldn't be, especially in a 5-game series. Like, what are you going to be building as ADCs at that point, right? It's like
well, that's when you start looking at like your you're not in Trinity Forces, but you're items, right? You look at your Stairs Gauge, that gives AD. Yeah. That gives AD.
Well, in this completely hypothetical scenario that we've cooked up with, since we do have time, would components count towards this Fearless? Because
I'd say they can't, just because you need components to build into so many other things. But it would be really.
What about what about Doran's items? Well, before he gets to that, it's a really good steadfast presence from Flock to prevent Barbar Jonks from Rocket jumping away, securing that kill for GCCe.
Yeah, I mentioned that Phantom Troupe's comp does not have many dashes to block right by steadfast, except for the rocket jump. And hey, turns out that's all you need to do sometimes. Block the rocket jump, kill the ADC, move on with your day. Yeah, didn't had Burn of the Night there, very actually a little committed. The Aurora ultimate burn, and that's really it. That was very a very cheap kill for Hyrulean Heroes. They're going to be very happy to preserve those cooldowns. Though it's not as if there's necessarily any crucial objectives coming up that they necessarily would need them for. But you're always happy to preserve your summoners and get the kill regardless.
Yeah.
Gold lead's steadily growing. It's nowhere near insurmountable yet, but 2.3k now. 2.2, sure, 3k as we speak. But yeah, the Static Shiv making this wave quite easy to farm. That's really the main advantage of Static Shiv as an itemization on Senna. There are much better items for fighting champions, but your champion does kind of have a difficult time farming sometimes because of your passive making your auto attacks slower. So Static Shiv makes it quite easy to actually collect the gold you need for your other purchases. And you'll notice there's Black Cleaver next most likely, because it has a very favorable interaction with Senna's passive. You basically get to double stack it with each auto attack. Ulted away.
Trouble. Dragon Out will be yeeted into the distance, but there's a lot of time for Sanctum to buy. Will find its way onto both Flock and Kagrin. Isolated Kagrin gets hit by the Noxian Guillotine, won't quite get the reset, but 2 early kills go the way of Phantom Troupe. Lucifer, Dark Archon going to be the one to claim that onto Kagrin. And with the Rift Herald spawning at the perfect time, PTO will be able to pick it up.
Yeah, 4-man Cosmic Radiance is insane, but mostly it's crucial that it landed on Darius. That gives Darius so much time to build up the stacks that they need for the Noxian Fervor, and then you notice the Guillotine just really just delete the fight. But yeah, that was a little bit of overextension into the pit. The Poppy's heroic charge didn't stun, so Darius was able to double apprehend, and yeah, it didn't look super great today. All going out just as the tower breaks.
Gets the first tower, but the Pathmaker will stop the CC from landing. T-Die going to do his best to try to find a kill down onto Sanctum. It's a good impale to prevent the damage from coming through, and a shutdown finds its way out to Dragon It out.
Oh, classic junglers. You're having your 1v1 top. You're like, I can win this. And then suddenly he's a Skarner out of nowhere. You lose the fight. But yeah, I mean, really.
Barbar in trouble. Steadfast Presence is used, but the rocket jump hadn't been. The Ignite is ticking down. Barrier popped, so he will live. Kagrin is in the area, though. And it does look like they're just. Do they give up on this? Yeah, they do. Sure, they have to.
Yeah. I'm sure you're very sad that you don't have the Dawning Shadow in that moment. That just feels so good. Ultimate, the backing, the low HP recalling Tristana. Scuttle is taken for the side of Hyrulean heroes. Dragon is spawned. If they can take it, it'll be soul point down, double root off the last
double
embrace.
Snare. Dark Archon's taken very low early on. Sanctum going to find its way on to Flock, pulls him back in. The tower's kind of, the cab's a little bit confusing. Kagrin finally does go down. Buckby doing a decent amount of damage, goes into the middle of all the members of PTL, does have the invisibility. Double kill picked up by Ballistic Demon, walking forward now on the center, tries to find his way on to Barbar. John's not quite finding that kill, but a triple kill. Quadra maybe now for Buckby's the one who got that kill, but it will be the 8th to the side of GCCe in the Quadra kill for Ballistic Demon on the use of the Dawning Shadow.
Oh, come on, Buck. I mean, you can't let your teammate have that one. No, obviously, great play from Buck. What was crucial with that fight was that both the Cosmic Radiance and the Impale were down. The Impale from that top side play and the Cosmic Radiance just a long cooldown and it was using the Rift fight. That means that those crucial summoners, even though Darius was such a menace in that situation, they weren't able to really have that finishing power, and then you have the center, the long range, the Static Shiv, and you're just completely able to free fire after the low mobility composition of Phantom Troupe burned what engage they do have. But there's gonna be a follow-up play.
I don't know if Sanctum and Dark Archon want to be here. That's another kill donated over to Ballistic Demon. I just don't really know what the angle was there. Buckby, though, the target may have been spotted out. Shutdown goes the way of Barbar Jonks. Ballistic Demon going to get flashed on by Sanctum, but is in a 1v3 as his teammate gets yeeted away. Nowhere to go for the Darius. T-Die will pick up that kill, going all out.
I'm getting... Am I getting deja vu? Am I getting flashbacks? Blue side, hyperscaling, infinite scalar ADC, 713. This seems oddly familiar. Yeah. I will say this time they have a bounty that seems much more realistic. But look at that! Look at that! 3 items.
Oh my goodness!
They had a Static Shiv and a Phage. They just spent around 4-5k worth of gold. Wow. So we can expect the Senna to walk back onto the map and do a significant increase to the DPS, which is quite scary for the side of Phantom Troupe, as they themselves should be aware of the power of an ADC in this position to take over a game. Only an item and a half for Tristana.
Yeah, and I mean, Ballistic Demon not quite going to be stunned up by the Dazzle. Meanwhile, the Scarter will probably eventually try to find that Impale. Don't know if he found it or not. Don't even know if it matters or not, because Ballistic Demon is still full of health, still autoing away, but taken quite low by Barbar Jonks. Now the Stormbringer will come through. Cosmic Radiance not going to save the Taric in time. Does prevent the damage from finding its way onto Barbar Jonks, however. Tier 1 tower goes the way of GCCe Hyrulean Heroes.
Yeah, it's looking tough. 3 minutes till Soul, potentially, and an Ocean Soul makes any like
slowed up, will find the pull onto Kagran. The stun drops onto the Darius. Barbar will be able to get the kill onto Kagran, but it's immediately traded back by Buckby, getting a kill on to Sanctum. Flash forward from Buckby is able to find the kill. Dawning Shadow used just as extra to ensure that the kill does go the way of GCCe. It's a little bit unnecessary in the end.
So the silver lining there for Phantom Troupe is that Ballistic Demon did burn both their summoners in that fight. The flash somewhat unnecessary. They're trying to finish off a kill, but their teammate was there on the flank to finish it off for them. So that does potentially open them up to be able to kill the demon that is rampaging across the rift at the moment on this soul fight. But that's really the only silver line there. You're at a 4k gold deficit. You have to close the gap that gets wider and wider with every 20 stacks the Senna acquires on their passive.
Yeah, and it's going to be even more difficult as GCCe are on soul points. It is the Ocean Soul as well. Senna with Ocean Soul is, you don't immediately blow her up. It just doesn't matter.
I will say, yeah, it's definitely the most impactful soul that you'd want as Hyrulean Heroes, you know, and it's something like an Infernal.
Treasure in trouble, tries to flash away, but I don't even think that'll be enough. Buckby's here, there's nowhere to go. Shockwave finds the mark, but it won't matter.
That being said, there's no soul that you turn down on any team in any situation.
No, I mean, true. Will be snared up. Dazzle not quite hitting anybody just yet. Baron
and look at this range
available on the map. Oh my god, Ballistic Demon from like 2 screens away.
All they can do is run.
Chunking Dark Archon. Kagran is here. Stuns up. Dark Archon won't be able to use the Cosmic Radiance at all. The storm has been brought to prevent the tower from helping out PTL. It's a clean sweep and an ace to the side of GCCe Hyrulean Heroes. They're just going to move straight to the base.
Yeah, fair enough. Baron is up, but you know what? I agree with this play. This is what I was talking about the Phantom Troupe had to do in this first game. Sometimes you just got to hit the tower as a team with your minions. So double good plays. Once again, the new season change, you now do get immediate gold rewards for doing that amount of damage to the plate, and they can in fact walk out to this Baron. It bought time for Kagran to heal up. They were very low at the end of the last fight, and with the death timers on Phantom Troops, there's no realistic way to test. They're posting their mid laner in order to act as a sort of scout, but there's really no play. This Phantom Troop is making the right call, and that Baron is gone in this game state, which is incredibly unfortunate, of course. But 5 seconds for the dragon to spawn, so maybe they hope to get a positional advantage there.
Even then, with Baron up, they would need to burn it down extremely quickly, but the recalls have already come through. It is available and started by the side of Phantom Troupe Lucifer. There is still a long walk for GCCe to be able to pick it up. And yeah, I mean, with the Tristana, who notoriously takes objectives really fast, is able to pick that up. Able to deny the Ocean Soul for at least another 5 minutes, the very least. But still, down 8k on the side of PTL is a very difficult gold deficit to surmount, especially with Ballistic Demon doing the things that he is. My god.
Shockwave, and it's healed back up.
That's only going to, it's healed back up. It's only going to slow Ballistic Demon down a little bit. It's not really something you could really like move on top of to try to close down onto this Senna. And without the Shockwave now, the amount of combat potential that PTL has. Buckby goes between worlds, finds the burst down onto the Orianna. The The ult from Tarek will keep things alive a little bit longer for dragging it out. He's slowly getting autoed down, all the while the backing Kagran will have to bring the Storm to escape. But the collapse once again, Barbar Jonks deleted. Sanctum will finally find the ult down onto the Senna. Quadra kill for Sanctum. Can he find the Pinta? He's burning down from the Ignite and the minion auto attacks. Flock will finally be able to find that kill. So it is a little bit of respite for PTL.
Wow, what a what a performance of the Darius. This is the game of the pentakills that weren't. First of all, we have Senna who gets the pentakill taken by their T Aurora, and then now your Darius, you got your passive stacked, you've taken out the, at the time, 8-1 and 12 Senna, and then you die to the support's Ignite. Come on. This is
Yeah.
neither team wanting to be the first team to give up a pentakill in this league.
Oh, that is peak League of Legends here from Phantom Troupe Lucifer, and actually it was a really good Cosmic Radiance from Dark Archon to prevent a lot of the damage from coming down. Even if he did die before, he was able to save himself in that fight. Still did a decent amount of work with that. But despite how things are going, despite the almost pentakill for Sanctum and Phantom Troupe Lucifer, they're still down 6.6k gold.
Yeah.
And,
This is exactly what I would mention with the Hyrulean Heroes last game. The trickiest part of being in a game state like this is that it's not enough to win one fight. You have to win several. What that did was it just meant that they did not end. You aren't able to convert that into neutrals. You aren't able to convert that into pressure on Hyrulean Heroes Nexus. All it buys you is time. Time to maybe find another opportunity, to maybe find the next couple of fights, but you need to keep finding them. And maybe they have.
Kagran will be pulled by Sanctum, slowed up, will try to rush away as he is able to. Ballistic Demon and Flock are arriving to help him out, but it won't do much else other than let him escape. And be alright, especially since there's not really anything on the map just yet to be fighting over too much.
1-3-1 currently from Hyrulean Heroes, waiting to see which side of the map Phantom Troupe commits to, and then they can hopefully punish the other. That's typically the playstyle you have here. Of course, Ballistic Demon, with the vision given by their teammates in the jungle, is very difficult to flank here. So they should be able to just kind of maintain the status quo and force either Phantom Troupe to walk out or a soul point. Ocean Soul taken for the side of Hyrulean Heroes. So it's just a matter of which team missteps first. Though, of course, the time is in favor of Hyrulean Heroes. 1 minute and 15 seconds left on that Ocean Dragon.
It's coming up relatively soon, and it's very difficult for PTL to really escape from their own base. They're doing their best to push out now with Ballistic.
They can force number advantage.
Much range.
Casante's top.
He's just walking away. It's a big auto attack, taking Daddy Treasure down to half HP with a Q as well. Ballistic Demon still completely untouched in that exchange, and even if they did get him slightly, heals right back up instantly. So PTL has to back off once again as the time ticks away. They pick up yet another tower, dragging it out, just getting tickled by Ballistic Demon, but still keeping him in that range. There's no real threat at all for Ballistic Demon. And so they push forward once again, push PTL back into their own base, making it very difficult for them to really move on to. But the Shockwave finds Ballistic Demon. Not quite enough there to be able to follow up on dragging it out. Will be able to stun the Poppy up against wall. Gets a few flashes away from the Dazzle, however, all the while in the top lane. T-Dye going to be picking up an extra tower there. And
Ballistic Demon is almost
and Kagran will be spotted, dragging out, taken low, taken not quite down just yet. The Impale finds its way onto Kagran, who will use the Stormbringer to get away, but it's not enough to fully escape. Teleport dropping now. The Dawning Shadow not quite finding nearly enough damage onto dragging it out across between worlds. Gets a lot of damage down. PTL have to retreat. Sanctum's taken low. He's isolated, and finally, this Darius finally goes, and the rest of PTL didn't escape, so the healthy members of GCC push forward. Ballistic Demon gets yet another kill down, this time onto Dark Archon. And with the super minions pushing into the base of PTL, they have to take care of that situation for themselves, and GCC move over to the Drake for Ocean Soul.
Yeah, that was a big opportunity for Phantom Thieves. So actually, Ballistic Demon was so they had to go in and get the Honey Fruit. As a result, it was actually a big opportunity where you noticed they were able to engage on Hyrulean heroes and not get constantly poked down by the Senna. And there was a bit of a misposition from Demon as well. Had to flash away from Darius, so there was a big opportunity for more of a conversion, but like exactly like you said, the minion pressure pushing on their base forced them to back away faster than they would otherwise have wanted to, which means soul for Hyrulean heroes, and you can only imagine one more nail in the coffin of the hopes of Phantom Thieves for winning this series. Ping's going off for Baron. Both teams looking to grab that last objective before cleaning up the game.
Yeah, and the mid inhibitor has respawned for the side of PTL, so they won't have that extra push to contend with. So it's at least something for them to try to counter this Baron take from the side of GCC. However, it's going to be a very healthy one on the side of GCC with the amount of healing you'll get from the Ocean Soul and the Senna. But Buckby goes between worlds, deletes Barbar, junks in an instant. And any hope that PTL had contesting this Baron is deleted with them.
Yeah, I mean, amazing play from the mid laner. Sometimes it's not always about the ADC. I mean, I guess in this case it kind of is because they killed the enemy ADC, but my point still stands. All eyes are being on the Senna. That means that the flanking chains of the Aurora are able to find those opportunities, jump in, get the one shot, and do what all burst mages really truly strive to in their heart, which is destroy bot laners. I would typically imagine,
and especially bot laners that are only on 3 items. I mean, that sounds like a weird statement to say.
Only.
But
welcome to season.
But I mean, welcome to season
16. 16, whatever we're at now.
Season 2026, I think, is the official title, and that is the year. So either way, the point is that ADCs take a lot of items, and by 31 minutes, and considering how things have been going for GCC and Ballistic Demon, it's still a lot, but the flash forward finds Ballistic Demon from Sanctum, gets a shutdown, and that might be the moment that PTL were looking for. As 2 kills now go the way of Troupe Lucifer. They're looking for more Sanctum, not quite able to pull back Puckpea, but it's just too far forward from Ballistic Demon. He has so much range on the center, but still Obstaco really, I mean, way too close to the members of PTL. At the very least, T-Dye is able to take a top lane tower in that split push up there, but a slight blunder from GCC.
And the game drags on. Yeah, you can't imagine they're gonna be able to do much else with their Baron buff. You lose it on a couple members, you get your push. Typically, it's very punishable.
Pulled back, will be stunned into the wall by Flock with the audacious charge. But I mean, they're alright. Across the Veil makes you so slippery on the Aurora. They'll be able to get out there comfortably.
Darius at this stage of the game, like basically any stage of the game, really needs his passive. If Darius can get all 5 stacks of Nox and Fervor, they're able to suddenly 1v5 your entire team. If they can't, they will use all their abilities and do half the health of a mage with no health items, I believe. Yes. So that's really it's really a feast or famine style champion. So in a situation there where they are smacking the Aurora because, you know, you hit the damage dealer over the Poppy, and then the Poppy's able to peel them, so then if they top out Poppy and they can't get 5 stacks on either target, their damage output is just not there. But then when you see what they can get the 5 stacks, not only do they one-shot the Senna, they then get to immediately apply all 5 stacks to the Volibear and one-shot the Volibear. This also looks quite familiar, doesn't it? I feel like we've been at this
5
part of the rift a lot
in the
this
bot
game.
lane for PTL, but all the while, you do have T-Dye pushing in the top lane. Oh my goodness, Barbar Jonks cannot react to anything at all. Immediately removed from the map by Buckby on the Aurora. Just nowhere to go. Didn't even have to use the Between Worlds to do it that time. Oh my god. I mean, wow. Okay. I mean, yeah, sure, right? Like, yeah, sure, right? Like,
I guess.
Okay, if you say so, Riot. That is going to be 2 kills to Buckby, and now it's a 3v5 defense for PTL. One final stand. I don't know how they're going to be able to do it without their 2 carries, though. Dragging it out. Now the target finds an impale onto 2. Won't matter. And any hope that PTL had with a few of these flash plays by Sanctum with any of these engages are completely removed as GCC Hyrulean heroes take game 3 commandingly and take the series.
Yeah, really impressive there from Hyrulean heroes. I appreciate the capability of Buckby in this game to say, hey, 3 items on my champion can be just as impactful on as 5 items on yours. The ability to just completely 100 to 0 the squishier damage dealing champions on the side of Phantom Thief, or sorry. um, it's getting late for me. But
Hey, it's okay. Persona 5 is a great game. I understand.
right? Honestly, it is. Okay, but I'm getting sidetracked. It'll completely delete their damage carries, making it so that while they made a valiant attempt to make it back in the game, winning a few fights out of really nowhere, especially off the back of the Noxian for a passive Darius, we're not quite able to pull the hat out of the rabbit out of the hat, make a miracle happen, and flip what really was a crazy game, 13k gold advantage for Hyrulean heroes at the end of the game.
Yeah, and it is also what is equally impressed by Hyrulean heroes this time around is that throughout the series they really couldn't get anything done in game 1 or game 2 early on, and even though they ended up winning that game 1, it was more so through a bit of a misstep from PTL and then the scaling coming online for them. But the fact that they were able to overcome their early game deficits in games 1 and 2 for game 3 and put in that kind of performance is very impressive, and one that I honestly really wasn't quite expecting from them, considering how the early portion of the series had gone.
Yeah, but punches thrown by both teams. I'm excited to see what they have to show us in the rest of the season.
Yeah, and not only that, it's failed to mention at this point, it's not only that, it was, look at the gold graph, my god.
Look at Senna's damage, 60k almost.
Yeah, jeez, that's a crazy amount. It's hard to deal with, but especially against our reigning champions who have kept 2 of their members and brought in Dragon It Out, who was a very prominent member on one of the better teams last season. Not going to be an easy opposition at all, and so for them to step up like this was very impressive. But I think with that, unless you have any closing remarks, Kai, for us that you wanted to point out, I think that'll be it for us here tonight. Here in Ember on Ember Esports for some Ember Cinder League action. We'll be back tomorrow for some, I believe that will be Blaze League. It'll be either Blaze or Maj is going to fire me now because I don't remember.
Well, I just called them the Phantom Thieves, and we both get this.
It's okay. Either way, it is Scorch. Okay, according to the chat, will be one tomorrow. Thank you. That will be here at the same time at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So we'll hope to see you then. But for now, that's it from us. Have a good night. And yeah.